following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hello, I'm Carl Seidel, host of The People's View. The People's View is a show sponsored by the Nashua Republican City Committee. The committee meets every second Thursday at the Crown Plaza. And if you want to contact us, we have a website, nashuagop.org. And at the end of the show, you'll see some contact phone numbers or email addresses that you may want to send us your comments and recommendations. Thank you for listening in.
Welcome to The People's View, a program dedicated to discussing local, state, and national issues and their effect on the American people. The People's View provides a platform for state representatives and national figures to present their viewpoint. Whether it's social, economic, or financial topics, you'll hear it on The People's View.
Hello, and today we have Elizabeth Van Twuyver, who is running for representative in Ward 4,
That's
Nashua.
right. That's right.
Elizabeth, you've been on before. We will have you again now that you're ready for the final election at the end of the month, on November 4th.
Thank you for having me, Carl.
You're quite
I
welcome.
appreciate the opportunity to share my views with the public of Nashua. So.
And you last time you said that you basically want to focus on education, the budget, and
Jobs,
and increasing the economic viability of this.
Absolutely. You know,
state.
Carl, I think people are sick and tired of this economy. It's hurting everybody. And I know I personally am. We just had news that the Liberty Utilities is going to increase the gas rates for natural gas, which 50%, I heard. I can't believe that could be true. Electricity is going up. Food is going up. I just had a 50% increase in my homeowner's insurance, which is a killer. I'm on a fixed income.
Yeah.
And I think that people are getting tired of this. We need jobs, particularly in Ward 4. It's a critical thing for Ward 4. Those poor people who are at the low echelon of the pay scale are making it a hard time for them to even exist with the, all the costs that are going up. And they need to have good jobs. And we need a good environment in this city and also in the state that will attract people to create new companies which would make new jobs. It has improved a little bit, the economy, but it's not improving fast enough. I don't think that it could. So that's a big thing for me, jobs. I just know that when I lost my job in the computer industry and had to reduce my salary to peanuts almost, it was tough for me. And I have a lot of sympathy and care about the people of Ward 4, that they have some good paying jobs. And that helps the economy in the city. If they can pay their electric bills and they can go out and purchase things.
It's awful hard when when you're talking anything over 10%, let alone 50%.
Yes.
And I think, though, we have an opportunity, if we get a new governor in there, too, to really look after bringing new companies
I'm very confident that Mr. Havenstein will do that. He comes from the business environment, and I think he understands how much this state could be doing if we had the right environment back again, what they call the New Hampshire advantage.
Yes.
That if they have that come back, then I think we'll see a lot of growth. We also would like to have jobs that the education system can train people for that will stay right here in the state. Jobs are very important, and that's a job and education are the only things that get you out of poverty. And of course, you know that my other love is education.
Right. Being on the Board of Education.
Being on the Board of Education, which is a great challenge. it's the most rewarding thing for me at my age, you know, after I've had my career and trying to give back. It's just most rewarding. And the only thing that lifts people out of poverty is a good education. I was very encouraged to see Alderman, I've forgotten his name now, on the Economic Development Committee. Oh gosh, this is terrible, and I had it before. It'll come to me. But anyways, he had the lady that is the president of the Nashua Community College come on.
Yes.
And she was wonderful. That what they're doing with that program, their curriculum there, is to guide people into these jobs, like the advanced manufacturing jobs. They have this wonderful program called Burning Glass, which helps them to go out onto all the databases, job databases, and call what is needed. And they're designing their curriculum to do that. One of the things that CTE at the in the school district is doing too is they've got so many wonderful programs. I mean, this lady told me that this one person that was working in the automotive field was making $70,000 a year. Well, that just blew my mind. I said, why wouldn't anybody go 2 years after high school and get a job like that? Entry jobs that can be found without having a complete 4-year degree. So anyways, you can see that I have a love for this.
Well, that's their automotive training program over there, which, by the way, was run by Tim Hogan, who was a representative from Ward 4 at one time.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Tim. I've talked with him about his former job as state rep, and I knew he taught over there, but I didn't realize it was the automotive
program.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. I mean, what's available today for these students? It's remarkable. It really is remarkable. So, and I think we need to gear more students towards those careers if they're not interested in going on to a 4-year college. I don't know who can afford a $50,000 bill over their head when they come out, particularly if there's no jobs there for them. So that's the other thing too. We have to get the cost of education down. And these schools, the bill that went through for money for underprivileged kids to go to these charter schools, they got scholarships.
Program.
Thank you. I'm really not that bad. That would have been a wonderful thing.
That's right.
A wonderful thing for those who cannot afford to go to school, that they would be able to provide it, and then they could work in it. But it also takes the part of the family to ensure that these children are guided towards the right way, that there needs to be the family support there. So you know that education for me is very important. So that's two things.
I think that's a good program. I think the scholarship program, I'm glad that they declared that the constitutionality challenge wasn't properly made. But I still think it's something that should be constitutional. I mean, the federal government allows you to donate directly to churches and take it off your income tax. So that's not any kind of violation of separation of church and state.
It is not. I think that has been blown out of proportion. I do not believe that's what our forefathers thought. They didn't want the government to establish a religion or a church, and they didn't say you couldn't be religious. And you know, it's one of the beautiful things about this country is we're tolerant of other religions and not religions. If you're an atheist or whatever, that's one of that's the other thing that's kind of bothering me right now in a big way, Carl, is the lack of respect for our Constitution.
Yes.
We have too much intervention by the federal government. I believe in local control of schools, and it's really a laugh that we don't have that.
Then you get into Common Core and all that other stuff.
We're not going to talk about I'll come back some other time and talk about that, because that is an explosive topic.
That is.
And, but to me, the Constitution...
But they're being forced on us from the federal government.
That's absolutely right. They dangle this money bucket in front of it. They bribe you. I believe that's solely true. And what school district wouldn't say, yeah, give me the money? And then, you know, it depends on what they're going to do with it. I mean,
they're chastised by the voters if they don't take the money. It's all that free money that you're getting. Well, it's not free. It's your money.
Absolutely. Why send it to Washington, D.C.?
Directly.
Just give it to let us keep it.
Yeah.
Let the individual keep it so that they can do the things that they want. And You know, it's the city would go broke because our school budget is 109 million now, I think it is. But that does not include all the federal money. It's up to 150 million, and that does include all the donations, all the stuff that the PTOs do, and whatever. So it's costly, very costly, and it's tough to manage that too, to make sure that you're putting things in the right way. So I'm very much. It's not only the federal constitution, I think, it's also the state constitution that is not being respected, that they're circumventing the state house and the Senate for doing things, and I think that has to change too, particularly with the education. I attended one meeting of the education committee at the state house, state education committee, where the commissioner of education was talking to them about a waiver that might come through, and someone asked her the question, well, how do you inform people? And she says, well, I talk to the superintendents, and the superintendents should talk to the Board of Education. You know, it's our job to oversee, and our superintendent is so busy, I can imagine other superintendents, sometimes they may forget to tell us something. So, you know, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but there needs to be better communication between that whole cycle between the House and what the laws they pass down to the rules of the...
Well, you know, that's one of the big things that in the 2010 legislature, when I was up there, communication throughout the whole administration between different agencies and the agencies to their customers. They shouldn't think of them as their people that they have to oversee, but they don't communicate all the new rules and regulations, and they don't get the feedback and perhaps adjust them. There's no cross back and forth of communication to try to work out a better way of implementing the system.
Yeah, and you know, people today are very, very busy. Hopefully that they'll learn maybe they need to slow down a little bit sometime, but they don't have time to keep up on top of that. And it's very easy for the House or the Senate to push something through that later you find out, hey, that wasn't good. It wasn't a good thing to do.
Unintended consequences.
That's what I'm always concerned about. I love to do research, and boy, I tell you, it keeps me busy, even with the school board. But I know that if I get up there at the state, when I get up there at the State House, that it'd probably be the same way. That it takes a lot of research, and you have to have confidence in those other people on other committees that are working on laws or bills, that they have the wisdom that they need to have so that you can trust them, that, you know, okay, so you don't have to do all the research. It's a big deal.
Yeah, you are limited in the staff. You have 400 legislators, have about, I think it's 15 or 16 lawyers to help them form legislation.
Oh, wow.
So it's a matter, it's really a zoo the first 2 months you're up there because they all, you know, we put through at least 1,000 bills every
I know.
session.
I know, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. I just don't, it boggles my mind that we need that much work to be done, but.
Well, there are a lot of people who have favorite things to put in because some constituent asked them to do something like that.
Yeah.
But the other thing you wanted to touch on was the voter situation, voter fraud.
Yes. The Secretary of State has just come out and made a statement that he believes that there is voter fraud. And I'm glad to see that, because I feel that there is also, particularly in my ward, I think we had 1,000 people or more, I can't remember the exact, but it was a huge amount that registered the same day at the last election and voted. And
well, in Nashua alone, it was over 7,000.
There were over 7. That's, I mean, that's huge.
It was
that is
almost 15% of the vote came in on the last day to register. Now, a lot of things were sent back because, as you know, we got a list of all the people that registered the last day, and they sampled it and sent out, you know, postcards or something. And the ones that were returned, there was a large number of them returned not at this address or not known, you know.
Well, I sent out 50 to Clock Tower to see if I could get in there, and I got about 13 back just this last primary.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I don't remember whether Democrats or Republicans or what, but that I think is a pretty good percentage of the 50. Close, I guess, Clock Tower has a lot of people who move in and out, you know, that are transient.
Well, a lot of the
stopping.
apartments have that.
Apartments,
it's temporary, whether they had a new house or something like that. And there are lots of new people that move into houses. And do the old names still exist on the voting records?
Yeah.
And does somebody pick those names up and say, I live at such and such?
Well, I think that's why it's important for representatives, state representatives that are running, people are running for those offices, that when they get those returns, that they do take them and have somebody look at them just to get them off the voting rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the things that one of my opponents voted for was to ease the ability to vote in this state from another state, and when they're resident of another state. And
well, that's the only one they said that they were going to prosecute. They caught one person from Massachusetts that actually voted in both locations. They had to want to make sure that his vote really counted, but they were going to prosecute him. I don't know whether anything's going to happen, but maybe it's just a slap on the wrist type of thing.
Well, we had an incident in my ward the last election too. One of our Republicans went to vote, and they said, well, you've already voted, you cannot. And I guess there's investigation going on now about that one too. So there is, if we could even cut it down a little bit, that would be a great help, I think. We used to be in country that honesty, everything was built on honesty. And it seems like we
can't trust it anymore.
No, you can't, and that's a shame, because that was pretty nice country when we were on that policy. And it's unfortunate that these people are making it difficult, that are taking away that, because that's one of the nicest things about this country is the freedom that you have, and that we consider you to be an honest person and innocent when you're not, until you're proven guilty type of thing. So it's sad, but I think something has to be done to improve that. There's no reason why you can't supply a photo ID, and I don't know why people complain about that. To get on an airplane, you have to have it. You have to drive a car. You have to have the ID. Lots of things.
When you register to vote, you should be able to register ahead of time, where they have to have a chance to check, because they do send you a card, and you have to, if it comes back from the post office.
Oh, they do? Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that. Well, thank you very much. You can put a little ease into my life here.
Yeah, but that's not for the ones that register the same day.
No, I don't think we should. I always thought that was kind of bizarre why we would have that.
Well, that's part of the federal regulation. That was one of the options we had.
Oh, we'll have to get Marilinda to take care of that then, huh?
That's right. Marilinda.
I have to put in a plug for her, because I think she's dynamite. She's good. So.
Well, I think Scott Brown will help out too.
I think so.
And we'll have maybe a little push from our governor. I'm sure that the governor will do that. Yeah. Well, we've already come to the end of our time.
Oh, no.
What else do you want to say?
Well, I just want to tell you that my opponents are not really voting for things that are conducive to our constituents. I mean, the taxes that they voted for in 2013, a tax on youth camps, cigarettes, fishing licenses, all those. I mean, home heating oil especially. Why would anybody do that this time to increase that? The gas tax, that hurts both. Everybody. People in business, mothers taking their kids to school, it's...
Well, we got to watch that. We got to balance the budget. We can't, instead of coming up with new taxes, we got to try to get more people in that do contribute.
That's right. Jobs.
That's jobs. What you started
jobs,
out with.
What I started out with.
The economy here in New Hampshire is a big thing to focus on.
So there are a few other things that I was...
Well, people can call you. They have your name.
Yes, 883-5723. I'll spend hours on the phone with you.
Okay, and you'll tell them what you want to change.
I want them to... I need the vote of... I think people are ready for change in Ward 4. I think I'm the best choice for them for this election, and I hope to see you in Concord.
Good. Okay, very good, Elizabeth. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Carl. It's always a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.